Where did the physician go? Wait. Sir? Are you... Aleph. It's you. My pen pal. You are, in fact, Nkomala. All those letters, all the ideas we shared, they weren't just my imagination or some prank. Vertin, Soneto, it's all just as I told you. They weren't meaningless. They're all real. So, sir, are you Aleph, the ruler of this prison? Are you the one controlling the panopticon with the die? The one hiding Miss Dores's whereabouts?
What curious inquiries. Quite different from the last 2,666 questions I've received. My guests, you may call me Aleph, or by any other name, be it a symbol of God's oneness or a farcical epithet. I am merely one of the many prisoners who voluntarily reside here, a single letter in the alphabet of the Panopticon.
A letter? The way you speak is quite different from Dr. Merlin. Still, I wonder what your relationship is with him. But allow me to make a guess. You're Dr. Merlin, aren't you?
I'm afraid that's not entirely accurate, but you may think of it that way. Merlin is a figment born of my mind, an incomplete reenactment. He is me, yes, but not entirely. He, or rather they, failed to find their answers. They fought against their predestined fates, only to be inevitably crushed under their weight. I simply stood by and watched it all unfold. That was the extent of our relationship.
They?
You've already met Merlin and the Idealist, even witnessed their demise. Shackled by the delusions of verses, the Idealist lost his own name. Merlin, too, imprisoned himself within the system of the Panopticon. I'm sure their desperate pursuits caused you some trouble. Please forgive them. After all, your fleeting encounters led to the demise of them both.
I think I understand now. The Idealist and the Physician are both parts of you. Or, to put it another way, they're your alter egos.
The physician mentioned Manus Vindictae. What's the relationship between this prison and the Manus?
Visitors from the Foundation. We all witnessed those eras perish. In 1977, not long before the fourth storm, I arrived in Ushuaia. Shortly after, some members of the National Foucault Studies Association reached out to me. But it wasn't just them. An arcanist organization called Manus Vindictae also approached me. Each of them wanted answers. They named me their advisor.
You acted as an advisor to the Manus?
The two parties presented me with a concept and a parable, respectively.
A concept and a parable?
the Foucault Association sought to explore the feasibility of the panopticon concept here, while Manus Vindictae showed me a parable of the past and future. Day and night, I wandered through endless texts, endless realities, as I searched for answers. And thus, Merlin was born. He was both an experiment and a price I paid. A new concept, a new direction. Pursuing such things always leaves me confined by the limitations of human knowledge. Merlin spent his entire life exploring Foucault's theories in pursuit of that singular yet infinite answer.
What about the Manus, Mr. Aleph? You didn't explain why you helped them.
Explain why? Because they asked me to, just as you have. I simply worked to answer their questions.
So you're saying that, to you, we are no different from Manus Vindictae? And if we ask, you'll answer us, without holding anything back?
Is that not precisely what is happening this very moment? This is what the Manus gave Merlin, a magical die named the Tear of Comala. It was once a gemstone that belonged to a god. At the beginning of the century, explorers plucked it from an ancient gate they discovered in Antarctica. To the explorers' amazement, the gemstone could turn human desires into reality. So they cut it into a die, a symbol of fate, and used it to build a sanatorium, which was later transformed into the panopticon you are standing in right now.
Then, Aleph, you really are the mastermind behind the panopticon? You said Merlin used the panopticon to seek his answer. What does that have to do with my novel? I don't get it, Aleph. Why would you use my novel to manipulate this place? Roberta, Garcia, Octavia, Pablo, the jailer, everyone. Not one of them deserved to be trapped in a deadly loop in which everyone's fate is already predestined. They're just like the ghosts in Amalfitano, inescapably trapped within the ruins. Tell me, what is it you really want?
It's not about what I want. It's about what you want. The third line of your first letter. You said you wanted to give the rise and fall of sanity an ending.
Los registros históricos del dado de Babilonia aún se pueden encontrar en la biblioteca de la Universidad Santa Teresa. No. Una apertura como esta haría la historia demasiado ambigua. En 1975, en el pueblo de Amalfitano, Sonora, México, ocurrió algo terrible y escalofriante en la cabaña con el techo azul. Todo comenzó con las costumbres peculiares de los Espera, ¿cómo supe todo esto? Necesito agregar un ro para el narrador. El cuentacuentos. Un poeta surrealista de México me contó esta historia. Una anciana entró en el bar al que solía ir en el pueblo. Al mismo tiempo,
el empleado del banco también entró al bar trayendo la noticia de que una corporación multinacional iba a construir una fábrica de jabón de galletas en Amalfitano.
Espera, empleado del banco. No sabía que había bancos en Amalfitano. Pero sí, tiene sentido. Los bancos comerciales son, sin duda, un sello del capitalismo. Gracias, amigo por correspondencia. Antes de convertirse en empleado del banco, era un defensor de las antiguas costumbres del pueblo. Era un pescador de dunas.
Después de aceptar el destino otorgado por el dado de Babilonia, eligió dejar todo atrás, el triste y aterrador pueblo y los ciclos ocultos dentro de la infinita aleatoriedad.
Oh, qué irónico, pero también es realista. Ahora solo necesitamos un personaje contrastante, un creyente en el destino. Una anciana tejedora se sentó en su antiguo taller, girando incansablemente su rueca, un regalo precioso otorgado por el dado de Babilonia.
La tejedora ciega relató suavemente todo lo que había vivido.
¡Qué idea brillante, Aleph! Una tejedora ciega no podría haber presenciado el asesinato. ¡Fantástico! En este caso, agregaré a un conductor de burros que es asesinado en este capítulo. Con cada una de tus sugerencias, la historia da un paso adelante. Gracias, Aleph. Pero todavía no veo ninguna señal del final. Es como si no importara cuántos personajes nuevos agreguemos. Todavía falta algo en el pueblo desértico. Le falta una figura clave. Aleph, ¿qué debo hacer? ¿Cómo le doy un final a esta historia?
Tú misma me preguntaste, ¿cómo le doy un final a esta historia? Me describiste cómo tus palabras se habían transformado en un rompecabezas desmesurado infinito, un lenguaje irreconocible, una colección de información ambigua y una parábola que había perdido todo su significado. La ausencia de un final aún te roe, atrapándote para siempre en ese abrasador pueblo desértico. Todo lo que estoy haciendo es intentar encontrarlo para ti.
¿Estás diciendo que has estado manipulando los acontecimientos en el panóptico desde que intercambiamos cartas por primera vez septiembre pasado?
Sí, cada vez que revisabas la novela, se hacían ajustes correspondientes en el panóptico. Reflejar fielmente las complejidades de cada detalle era clave para asegurar que la historia avanzara sin problemas. Estos ajustes los manejaba principalmente Merlin, a veces el idealista, y antes de ellos, Zahir y Paracelso.
¿Cada vez?
6 versiones de la historia del Amalfitano ya se han desarrollado en el panóptico.
Eso significa la rana aplastada en el barro, la vaca muriendo de vieja, el lirón cayendo al mar, el fantasma asesinado en el duelo y los cambios repentinos al dado de Babilonia. Todas las revisiones que sugeriste, todas las muertes, el caos y la locura, ¿realmente sucedieron aquí mismo?
Incluso la eternidad tiene sus límites, Recoleta. In the 6th revision, we added the blind weaver, an extraordinary figure. Just like the paracausality researcher who carries a suitcase that you introduced in your 7th letter.
The paracausality researcher carrying a suitcase. Miss Recoleta, is this character really based on the timekeeper?
What? Of course not. The paracausality researcher is an entirely different character.
Don't you understand? We're only one die roll away from the ending.
I don't. What on earth are you trying to do?
Recoleta, it is the cycle of fate that has brought you to the panopticon of Comala in Ushuaia. Now, return to the rise and fall of sanity. Return and become a character once more. You've been searching for its ending, but how could you possibly find it when you're no longer inside the story? I believe that this time you will witness the grand finale with your own 2 eyes. No more sadness, no more loneliness. The answer you've long sought lies in the inevitable final roll of the die.
So, the jailer is the bank clerk, and Erd is the blind weaver. But what about Roberta, Garcia, and Octavia? They weren't even assigned roles. They were just playthings, helpless in the face of fate. What right do you or I have to decide what happens to them? To dictate their gains and losses?
But they couldn't possibly understand such a thing, could they? To you, it's just a story. But to them, it is the manifestation of bittersweet destiny.
Do you think hiding behind the guise of fiction absolves you from the reality that you've turned the Panopticon into a living hell? Yes. You're the only one who truly understands the rise and fall of sanity. Goodness knows how many manuscripts I sent out that never received a reply. I was so grateful to you for your replies, for understanding my novel. Those things were more precious to me than any sunrise over the Andes. Had I known that your feedback was created in such a way, and at such a cost, I would have preferred not to receive it at all. Don't you get it? Even if they don't understand my novel, the people I meet are still my friends. Whether we took a long journey together, or we simply chatted for a few hours. We formed an inseparable, miraculous bond. They're a part of me. How could you treat them like fictional characters? It's disrespectful to my work and to life itself.
But you raised the question yourself. Why do you resist receiving its answer?
They're always like this, aren't they? They throw a question at you, only to abandon it along with the fading of the era. This storm will spare no one. You've known it all along, Aleph. Only the timeless Panopticon can maintain control. The all-seeing tower. The perfect governing system. What a hopeless fool you are, Merlin. Haven't you heard what they say? There is no need to build a labyrinth when the whole world already is one. Your meaningless questions will be swept away by the tides of time, only to resurface on the shores of our minds once more. We've seen it happen, over and over again. Surely you've realized by now that the only true meaning can be found in literature. For over a century, literature has remained the singular, ultimate answer. This lonely cowboy is simply feeling lost at the moment. Spare us your ramblings, my dear. You're wasting our time.
Enough.
Aleph seems to be in a terrible state. We have to be careful. Something isn't right about that die.
Stay behind me. I'll keep us safe.
Go ahead. Keep the story going. Carry it through until we finally feel the sweet gratification of the ending.
Your endeavors are doomed to fail. There's only madness in literature and art, not transcendentality.
The show's on.
House.
Oh look, here's another one. The show's on.
Candy. Plant A. Time waits for no one, even for a great people. Time waits for no one, even for a great people.
A mice path. An unconventional choice. The show's on.
This plant should do.
En todos los momentos.
Time waits for no one, even for a great people.
You are not welcome here.
Idealismo, vuelos de fantasía, patrones ocultos. Andy,
The puppy.
más allá del concepto mundano del tiempo. Nuestro adversario es el tiempo. Hey, don't interrupt me. The show's on, hounds. Oh, look. El camino a Tlón. I'm with the noble, even for a great people.
These explorations, these fractures, they're all failures, aren't they? In this infinite expanse, I feel nothing but infinite sorrow.
Whew, that went smooth.
Exactly.
Wait! Mr. Aleph? Are you human? Please hand over the die peacefully.
Mr. Aleph, please stop resisting. It's futile.
Futile. Yes, it's all futile. The cage of rules, the ideals of literature, both are futile. Mere illusions conjured along the path to transcendentality. They all fear that they're nothing more than phantoms in someone else's dream. That reality will devour everything, including their very existence. That's why they drift further away from transcendentality. They couldn't break free from that false dream. None of them could. Both the physician and the idealist walked toward their own destruction, just as I expected. But your novel still has hope, Recoleta. Its ending hasn't been written yet. We cannot deny that it may be the answer to achieving transcendentality.
You're not going to stop, are you? Not until you get your answer. Sinetto, we have no choice but to seize the die from him by force.
Enough. I said enough.
I'm afraid we can't publish your novel in its current state, Recoleta. We look forward to seeing more refined work from you in the future. Ah, Senor Cruz! What a pleasure to see you here. I'm an editor from the Naranja Dulce publishing house. Could you spare a moment to discuss the copyright for the Bluebird? We're huge fans of your children's literature.
Hey, relax, Recoleta. Look at all the books around you. This place is heaven. You can't get down on yourself. Not here. There's so many writers and publishers here. It's only natural you'd be turned down 17 times. This is just the beginning. Now, which section should I visit next? Oh, this brochure might help. Estupendo. An exchange of ideas between writers. Nothing could be more incredible than that. I recall James Joyce was inspired by a letter he received from Henrik Ibsen. So, maybe what I need is to find someone to share my manuscript with. But who? Tadeo Emasums, Aleph, Averroes. Oh, it's you, senor. Don't worry. I promise I'll catch up on the rent next month. Although I must say, this apartment's hardly worth the price. The cracks on the walls must date back to the last century.
Make all the excuses you want, Ingrid. If you don't pay the rent soon, you'll either end up in that crumbling colonial building on the corner or on the street, selling oranges at the San Telmo market. By the way, Julia told me you lost your job at the textile factory. You under some kind of can't work in one place for more than 3 months, curse or something, senorita?
Oh, you don't even want to know about the terrible things that happened in that factory. All I did was lend the oppressed workers a hand.
Bah, you're just like those college kids, full of hot air. Anyway, I am not here about the rent. Didn't you tell me to watch out for your letters a while back, when you just returned from abroad? Well, here it is, a letter for you.
Dios mío! Someone actually wrote back to me! This is incredible! Oh, thank you so much for bringing it to me, senor! Dear Miss Recoleta, it's from, let's see, Aleph. Hey, I've been watching you. You're not local, are you? What are you writing? Oh, hola. You're right. I just arrived in Buenos Aires 3 days ago. My trip's been a lot like a Copes Tango performance, full of twists and turns, but nothing much worth telling, really. I'm actually writing a reply to my pen pal. Long story short, I sent him a manuscript of my novel, and to my surprise, he actually wrote back. Amazing, isn't it? In our recent letters, we've been discussing how my novel lacks a key character to drive the story toward a decisive ending. So we've been debating whether to introduce a new ghost to act as a turning point for the story. Oh, so then you're a writer? Hey, Pancho, come over here. I found an actual real-life writer.
What's the big deal? I wrote plenty of poems in middle school.
Oh, so you're a poet. I have a feeling we're about to embark on an incredible adventure together. Are you interested in joining the visceral realism movement? What? I've never heard of it, but it sounds like fun. Fabuloso! We have no time to waste. Once I finish this letter, you two must join me on a journey to Ushuaia.
Ushuaia? The end of the world? Why the heck would we go to that icebox?
Oh, don't be such a downer, Pancho. Just think of the fun we'll have, the breathtaking scenery we'll see, and the incredible stories we'll hear.
Fine, Maria. I'll deal with the cold if you really want to go so badly.
By the way, could you tell us about your novel? Of course. I'll tell you all about it on the way. Now where to begin? Alright, let's start with the cottage with the blue roof in Amalfitano. It's been 6 months since we first exchanged letters. Since then, I've been traveling, first from Chile to Mexico, then from Mexico to Argentina, and I've never stopped writing. I'm not really sure what the purpose of my novel is. I just keep writing and writing. I can't stop. What power does literature hold? What responsibilities? Perhaps only by continuing to write will I understand one day. Aleph, you're right. I do want an ending to my novel. But not like this.
You really have no idea, do you, Recoleta? The rise and fall of sanity is your story.
What do you mean?
You are a ghost, wandering this forsaken land, still striving to create a miracle. You are a wandering poet, born in Amalfitano, the foolishly brave protagonist of the story, and the embodiment of the author herself. A reflection, yes. The author, no. You are simply a figment of her imagination, a manifestation of her dream to wander. Have you not realized it? The literary pursuits and romantic adventures you described, they are merely faded memories from 1975. The poets who joined the visceral realism movement with you left Latin America long ago.
Faded memories.
As for the novel, it's yours now. A story you're writing, a story about yourself. Your departure has turned Amalfitano into a ghost town. The characters have lost their connection to you. They're gradually fading away. If the novel is destroyed, you too will cease to exist.
Wait, this is... Miss Recoleta? Is what he said true?
I know you never lie, pen pal. In your first letter, you told me that a character's role in fate must be determined from the outset and consistently adhered to throughout the story. Reading the perspective and insights of a walking encyclopedia, having such a person be willing to share their thoughts at all was an exhilarating experience. I had never imagined my novel could develop in this way. Words could hardly describe how I felt in that moment. No one but you has ever understood the story of that town, let alone offered any revisions. Following your advice, I added the bank clerk, the dune piscator, the blind weaver, and the murdered donkey driver. Amalfitano was no longer an empty town with a single blue-roofed cottage. The new ghostly residents had begun to fill the skies over it. The story was finally reaching completion. I could feel that the ending was within reach. I became increasingly eager to meet my pen pal. I couldn't get the thought out of my mind. I wasn't sure what I would say to this Aleph. A simple thank you, perhaps, or maybe a discussion about the future of Amalfitano with its sole reader. Or maybe I'm no different from everyone else, led up the garden path by fate. But even if I am a ghost, as you say, an incarnation of someone else, a fictional being, so what? My resolve will not waver, even if my existence is bound to fade away. Because this isn't what literature is supposed to be. You once told me there isn't an ounce of reality in fiction, only voids and glorified lies. Let me tell you this. Whether real or fictional, corporeal or intangible, I have accepted my existence. Now, let's put a stop to this, Aleph. The inmates aren't characters in my novel. They're people trapped in a prison, just as you are. By simulating my story here, you have made me into some kind of god, a guilty, false creator, a dictator of fate. I never wanted any of this.
The puppy wishes to come along.
¡Lo veo! ¡La frecuencia perfecta! ¡La admirable aleatoriedad del destino! Creo que lo he encontrado. La fuente del dado de Babilonia.
Las deudas de los muertos. Esas facturas. Todas han sido hechas cenizas. ¡Ya no estoy atrapado!
Desde el día en que perdí la vista, nunca imaginé que la rueda giratoria volviera a girar.
The show's on, hounds. Pansy, Plan A.
Oh look, here's another one.
Time waits for no one, even for a great people. Time waits for no one, even for a great people. An unconventional choice.
We stand together.
You're not a fan of my work?
I said go away.
El camino, Pansy. Plan A.
This card should do.
En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más. 3, 2, 1, down.
You are not welcome here.
Whew, that one's smooth.
Exactly.
Miss Recoleta has vanished. Did she really cease to exist like Aleph said?
Recoleta.